Welcome to Center Stage at the Phocuswright Conference. What a year it's been since we last saw you in Phoenix. The travel industry continues to rocket forward. The travel industry's largest publicly traded companies continue to report record earnings. Phocuswright research indicates that consumers continue to prioritize travel and tourism over home improvement, dining, and other consumables. And then there's AI. It's hard to fathom that it has only been a few months since OpenAI released ChatGPT to the public, and the statistics are staggering. 100,000 people tried it in the first 2 days, and over 1 million after 5 days. That's astonishing considering it took Facebook 10 months, Twitter 2 years, and Airbnb 2.5 years to hit that threshold. The app received 5 million downloads 3 weeks after launch. Today, the website sees nearly 1.5 billion visitors a month, all with no marketing except word of mouth. Phocuswright has been researching, analyzing, and reporting on the platform shifts and their impact on the travel industry since the early day of the internet. First, the World Wide Web, next mobile, then social. Is AI the next big platform shift that will disrupt the way travel is searched for, shopped, booked, experienced, and shared? We gather here today for the 29th annual Phocuswright Conference, you, me, and the machine, to shed light on this crucial question and navigate the way forward. This year, I'm thrilled to welcome over 1,300 of you physically here on site in Florida, with many more tuning in virtually. You come from over 500 companies and 35% from overseas, creating a truly global event. Yesterday, we hosted 80 sharp entrepreneurs in our startup program and paired them with 20 of our industry's brightest investors and mentors. Once again, we gather the most senior level of executives together in one place to collaborate, network, do deals, and develop product roadmaps and strategies together. Nearly half of you come from the C-suite, and 2/3 VP level or above. We are also proud to announce that the Phocuswright Conference is once again carbon neutral. Part of our responsibility collectively as a travel industry is ensuring that the amazing travel destinations that we dream of visiting are around for our children and their children to enjoy. All right, get out your phones. New this year, we're giving you instant access to your conference photos. So make sure you scan that QR code. Throughout the day, our photographer will be walking around taking photos and uploading them to Get Pika, which uses facial recognition to identify your photos. So sign up using the QR code and get your photos, and don't forget to share them on social. Also new this year, you will see 5 of Phocuswire's Hot 25 startups of 2024 present their companies on the stage. We've hand-selected these companies to showcase the most promising technologies that are poised to transform our industry. So we're thrilled to have Point.me, BlockSky, Otora, GreetHer, and Legends, who is also the winner of the Phocuswright WIT Global Startup Pitch, share their company and vision with you tomorrow on Center Stage. And a big thanks to Allianz for supporting the coverage of our Hot 25 travel startups, which was just released this morning on Phocuswire. Once again, welcome to Center Stage at the Phocuswright Conference. The entire Phocuswright team takes pride in elevating your conference experience far above the sea of sameness of other industry events. Should you need anything while you're here on site, please don't hesitate to approach me or anyone else with a Phocuswright name badge or chat us up on the virtual platform. Now it's my pleasure to introduce our Senior Vice President of Research and Product Strategy, Charuta Fadnis, who will talk through the theme and frame an incredible 2 days of upcoming content. Charuta?
Thank you, Pete. And good morning, everybody. A year on from Phoenix, here we are again, standing on the cusp of yet another transformation in travel. Yes, I am talking about AI. But before we get to that, let's just talk about normal travel stuff for a bit. 2023 is shaping up to be yet another great year for travel. Following on from the stellar growth in 2022, global industry gross bookings are projected to reach nearly 1.4 trillion in 2023. And despite the economic uncertainty that we still face, the ongoing wars, geopolitical issues, travel sales will exceed 2019 levels in 2024. Our projection is that we'll reach just over $1.5 trillion. And that's a 6% increase over the benchmark of 2019 that we've set for ourselves. Now, that will be the signal that we have truly left the pandemic behind. No more comparisons to 2019. Meanwhile, we're seeing segment share normalize as well. Hotels heading back to the mid-30s% range in total gross bookings. Cruise, though it's relatively small, is on a growth trajectory. Air, which recovered really strongly, now accounts for 40% of total gross bookings, and it'll stay in that range. Now, a few years down the line, as we're talking about air, when we look back at 2023, I believe we'll think of this as the year, the one, when airline distribution fundamentally changed course. More than a decade after IATA introduced the concept of NDC, we saw some big shifts this year. Some airlines firmly took control of their own destiny. They made big bets, they changed their strategies, and they really changed the way they're thinking about the way they do business to revolve around their content and the way that they distribute that content. Others have been a little more cautious, tinkering with changes, announcing more to come. But wherever they fall on that spectrum, it's safe to say that the impact will be felt across the industry. Whether you call it merchandising, modern retailing, it's here to stay. Now, last year in Phoenix, we also talked about the focus on the traveler, about travelers taking control, and we talked about titans and trailblazers, how the democratization of technology is creating a playing field so that nimbler companies, startups, scale-ups, they can really challenge travel's giants for a larger piece of the pie. All of those topics are still just as relevant today as they were a year ago, and maybe more so. Why? Well, because it was only a few days after our conference last year, the 30th of November 2022 to be exact, that a certain ChatGPT was released, and it stormed into the public consciousness. How many of us knew what a large language model was this time last year? Anybody in the audience? Or Gen AI? How many of us know what it is today? I bet most of you do. Now, AI itself is not new. Right? Companies have been using it for a long time, mainly in the form of machine learning. We just never talked about it. But along came ChatGPT, and if you look at these Google search trends, you can see AI and ChatGPT are now firmly in the common person's lexicon. Machine learning, not so much. It's still right there at the bottom. So it's no surprise that AI is the word of the year 2023. But what is it about ChatGPT that really caught our attention, that got the public's imagination? Could it be that it's so easy to use? Could it be that it's conversational, you use natural language? Well, whatever it might be, Gen AI has definitely entered the mainstream. And if you look at awareness of ChatGPT, Midjourney, DALL-E, general tools similar to it, is very, very high. So we asked travelers in the US, the UK, France, Germany, Italy, Spain, and awareness ranged from 67% in the UK to nearly 80% in the US. That's astonishing. More impressive is the proportion who've tried it for travel planning. So about 22% of travelers have tried Gen AI tools. Slightly lower, about 15% or so in the European countries. They've tried Gen AI for travel planning. Now, keep in mind, we're talking about a technology that's only a few months old. But what we should all be paying attention to is that younger consumers, those in the 18 to 34 age group, they're the ones who are leading the charge. About a third of them in the US and Spain, about a quarter in the rest of the European countries. And they're the ones that are going to lead us forward, right? And since its introduction, the travel industry is also embracing Gen AI. Plugins were obviously the most easy, the first applications out there. But there's been a continuous progression since. And there are many pioneers who are sitting here in the audience and beyond in the industry who are trying out use cases that go beyond marketing and content generation to optimization, operations, a lot of the back-end stuff. And they're creating efficiencies, and they're improving productivity. And last week's OpenAI Dev Day announcements, those should firmly place us on the path to transformation of the entire industry. Now, we talked last year about behavioral change in travelers. Not in our wildest dreams did we think that the change would be as extensive as we now imagine it'll be. Now, at a Phocuswright event last week, we heard that consumers are starting to enter 8 to 9 words per general search, where they used to do 2 to 3 before. When there's that much more information about what a consumer is looking for, there's more context, the relevance of the results that are returned can be that much better. Now, imagine if a traveler gives you, whether you're a supplier, an OTA, an OBT, more information about what they're looking for. And believe me, consumers are soon going to expect that every search box, whether that's in a search engine or it's on your website, that search box will have conversational capability. Then you add in multimodality, adding images and video to the words. Layer in the data that we know is floating around in the industry, first-party data. Combine all of that, and the valuable output that we could get, maybe, just maybe, that holy grail of personalization that those of us who've been in the industry for a while have been talking about, real personalization, maybe we can get there. And imagine what it does to conversion. Beyond that, if the pundits are right, very soon there may be autonomous agents who actually go out and do the searching and the planning and the booking for us. But, of course there's a but. There's still many questions out there. What does this mean? Is it going to be the entrenched players with deep pockets who tighten their grip on the market because they can invest? Does it level the playing field a little bit because smaller companies can compete more effectively? They're more discoverable. Maybe the marketplaces for GPTs, and there will be more than one, they'll create opportunities for new companies to come in to upend the status quo. And from the consumer standpoint, will we as consumers trust the information that we get from the machine? Who's responsible for making sure that that information is accurate, it's unbiased? What about security, privacy, ethical concerns? What about regulation? Will the actions that governments are taking be enough? Will they be effective? Do they go too far? Not too far? Look, this is just the beginning. Whether this evolution of AI turns out to be a treasure chest or Pandora's box, that remains to be seen. But it is a story that'll play out over the years to come. It's also the opportunity of a lifetime. It's an opportunity to really reimagine the travel industry from the ground up, to build travel into an experience that encompasses you, me, and the machine. So welcome to Center Stage at the Phocuswright Conference.